Hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, episode 93. What am I reading, and can I call it a reading pile anymore? I just want to I haven't done none of these in a while, and I want to give you just an idea of what I'm reading. And I'm jumping around a lot more, and I'm reading a lot of different stuff and less floppy. So I kind of want to talk to you about that in general, because I like to just share what I'm reading other than just the stuff I'm reading for specific things. Starman, Legion, anything else. I'm going to do 4 for 4 with Kirby, which has been a joy. And, I've got starting to plan some of those Daring Defender episodes. But I want to talk to you about just comics I'm reading in general. I'm going to give you a quick glance at what I get from my local comic shop, Velocity Comics. I've been reading the Mark Waid World's Finest. I've been getting the Superman Batman in the hardcover, so I've only read the first 2 arcs. I'm looking forward. But I got the World's Finest Teen Titans is single issues, and I will get the hardcover for that to match. And this is kind of Mark Waid working in his own little universe where history is different. And I really love this book. It's very much a just simple teen superhero book where everybody's going, they're fighting bad guys. There's nothing... It's not overly dramatic. It's not, it's just stripped down to its basics fun comic book, in my opinion. I'm looking at issue 6, which is Mark Waid writing. Creative team is Mike Norton does some pages in this, and so does Emanuela Lupacchino, who I've seen in other stuff. And this book is just beautiful. Beautifully done. A lot of fun. I like the lineup. It's got the original kind of Fab Five of Robin, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Speedy, Aqualad, but it also has got Mal, Duncan as Guardian, Lilith, Gnark. But what I really liked is Bumblebee is one of the main team members, and I love that. I love that character. I think they never did enough with her, and I think Mark Waid's done a wonderful job on this. And I saw something on the interwebs that he was been asking maybe he should do a Justice League set in this kind of his little pocket, and I am amen all for it. But they don't have a Justice League title right now, so I doubt that's going to happen. I wanted to talk, well, let me go to the JSA stuff, because you know how much I love that. So we've got JSA, wish it could come out more often. I'm enjoying it, but its release date is even starting to bug me. And normally I don't really care about that. But speed it up, guys, because Jeff Johns is leaving a whole bunch. We're going to talk about that when I get to Ghost Machine. But the Wesley Dodd Sandman, the Jay Garrick Flash, and the Alan Scott Green Lantern are out. And I don't know if I've talked about this. I can't remember. I'm enjoying them all. And some more than others. The Green Lanterns, it hasn't grabbed me yet. I think I know where the writer and the artist are going, and I'm okay with that story. That being the story that what's going on with Alan in the past. Pacing's not hitting me, so we'll see when we get to issue 3 and 4. If I've read 3, I may have read 3. I'm a little it's just not sticking. That's kind of a problem. The Wesley Dodd Sandman is absolutely great. It's Vendetti, Rossamo, and probably pronouncing this right, Placinia, and Riley Russo is the arter. Rosmo. I'm really doing it. I love the art. I love that it's kind of like Sandman Mystery Theater. It's not. It's similar in that vein that, he is a detective kind of superhero. So it's still capturing that, but it doesn't have that. It has less of a noir feel to it for me that the original had, and a little less, I don't want to say realism, because they're both very cartoony art. I mean that in a good way. It's just the way I had a simple description. I really like it. I think it's rocking on all cylinders. But I have to say the Jay Garrett Flash, oh my goodness. I love every bit of it. I love Adams. I need to read his Flash. The artist, Orlo Tego, is blowing my mind. Just blowing my mind. It's so good. And I love the story of Joan, Jay, and Judy. I like this, right? I do like this whole time. I'm a time travel guy. I'm digging all the time travel stuff and how history's changed and these people were stolen. But I just really dug this story and how they kind of tied Jay's origin into this big overarching thing and how it's connected to Judy's disappearance and reappearance. Stellar. That's all I'm going to tell you without spoilers. The Williamson Green Arrow. Amazing. I've got it turned to it was supposed to be a 6-issue mini. 7 came out. And they said they're going to 7 and 8 have come out because it's going to be a continuing. And we're going to see him battling Amanda Waller. I've not read New 52 on Suicide Squad except in the JLA Suicide Squad battle, crossover, war, whatever it was called, which was pretty good. I actually liked it. I actually liked it a lot, and I didn't think I would. But I'm digging this. Phil Hester does the art. Green Arrow battling the Brick and Onomatopoeia. And it just hit all the right spots because I love that Phil Hester's previous era on Green Arrow. It's just, ooh. All right, I want to talk about Avengers. Avengers 105, first comic. I can remember reading one of them. Avengers is my book. I always buy Avengers. Sometimes it's hard, but I'm always at some point satisfied. I really, really, really dislike the McKay Avengers run. I feel nothing is happening. It's just nothing but panels of people floating in the air. They're thin. It's not. There's no meat to it for me. That is lacking anything I want in an Avengers book. I don't need them all just fighting. I need to have some character interaction. I need to see some conflict between the leading characters of some sort. I need something other than set pieces for pretty good art. And I mean, I don't even think the art's great. I think it looks rushed. I think I can't, there's nothing to it to me. It's really, I hate to be this negative about any comic. But it lacks so much to me. There's nothing in it that is speaking to me. And it's great characters. It's a great lineup. I should really like it. But there's nothing interesting. There's no new character interaction. There's no there's no depth to it. I just feel like Jonathan Hickman's run, as dense as it is, it's not one of my favorites. But I really like it. I understand why he is so loved as a writer. Because everything he writes, I love it. But I don't love it just as an Avenger book. I love it because this is one of Hickman's big epics. And that's different than loving as an Avenger book. I found Jason Aaron's was up and down for me. There are arcs I loved, arcs I didn't. I really didn't think he stuck the landing for me because it was just, there was a lot of neat stuff he could have done. And I just think it didn't nail the ending for me. He didn't nail the ending for me. But it was good. But Ted McKay, and I don't even remember the artist's name, so I'm really not liking it. That said, there are 2 other Avenger books coming out. Avengers Inc. by Al Ewing, Leonard Kirk. Issue 4 came out. I think it has 2 more before it's been canceled. It's basically Wasp and the dead body of Whirlwind with a version of Vision's personality, Victor's Sage, his secret identity, and they're trying to figure out who killed him and all these villains, and the lineup changes a little bit, and they're in the it's the best Avenger book out, and it's sad it's being canceled because I'm more interested in this lineup, which has been Wasp, Luke Cage, the Vision, Moon Knight, and this version, and I'm not going to give you spoils who this person is, and Hank's back, and is he a good guy or bad guy? The other one I'm loving was the 5-issue series, I don't know if it's 5 issue, maybe there'll be more in this, but the Uncanny Avengers, which I love both series, especially the third one, the 3rd volume. Oh my God, when Deadpool was in it, I'm praising a Deadpool kind of comic. But I really have dug this. I like the whole plot with Captain Krakatoa being the Secret Empire Cap. Yeah, I'm going to spoil that. And I actually really dig the lineup. Quicksilver, Rogue, Black Widow, Penance, Psylocke, Deadpool, and Cap. So I'm really really digging it. It's been a joy to read. I like it. And I don't read any of the X-Men. I'm just reading that because I love the idea of the Unity lineup. Now I want to go to Ghost Machine, which is I've been reading Geiger and Junkyard Joe, the John stuff, which is going to be the I guess they're calling it the Unnamed Universe. But him and a large group of creators have all left their exclusives to come and just start this company, Ghost Machine. And the lineup of creators are Jason Fabok, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Jeff Johns, Lamont McGee, Francis Manapul, Brad Meltzer, Ivan Rice, Peter Sandberg. Oh, am I so happy about that? Peter J. Tomasi, Mayat Zut, I'm pronouncing it wrong, Brad Anderson, colorist, Rob Lee letterer. And it's this creator-owned universe they're building here. And I like their kind of mission statement. And we get to see the Unnamed, which is something that's going on. I don't even know what that is in context because we don't really know. But we get in the Ghost Machine 1, which is kind of an introduction to the new universe. Before it was just the Geiger series, and then Junkyard Joe, and then the Geiger miniseries Ground Zero, which gives more detail into his origin. If you've not said that, the Geiger, the first run is in a trade, Junkyard Joe's in a trade, and Ground Zero 1 and 2 came out a couple months ago, and then Ghost Machine 1 came out. I like how they use a checker box on the Geiger issue, like the old DCs. But basically, in this one, we're going to be introduced to the rest of the characters. And I know a couple of them have appeared in this Image kind of like tryout anthology book, which I have not bought. So in this, we get a Geiger story. We get a Red Coat, which is Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. It's stellar. And I'm going to go, we get a timeline. Who is the Unnamed on page 16? Let me find that. Throughout history, the unlikely and strange heroes have risen and fallen. These men and women are a mystery, their identities and lives a secret. But for a great evil to be stopped, their stories must be told. From a radioactive family man in the near future to a British assassin during the American Revolution to a robotic killing machine seeking his creator, and more. They are the Unnamed, fighting the unknown war. So that's the double-page spread ad. But we get to see that the Red Coat is an immortal. He knew, and we find out that Arbet and Darno was an immortal, and that's a Brian Hitch, beautiful Brian Hitch arcs. We're also going to get a character called the Northerner. So let me kind of go through this. Let me do this. I'm looking at it, and they've got their little who's who. Geiger, the radioactive hair, Junkyard Joe, who have their own suits. Hitch sounds, Red Coat sounds great, the Hitch character. Simon Pure is his name, but he's immortal. He's kind of like, he dies the way Captain Jack does in Doctor Who. He gets killed and then wakes back up. Then we have the Northerner, which is an African-American person in a Union thing, but he seems to be still alive after the 1640s. I don't know where this is going to fall in, but President Sarah Nash, she's someone new, and it's the arts text is by Brad Meltzer with Brian Hitch art, so this must be... she must be a character we haven't seen yet. There's a science fiction series called Rook Exodus. The struggling farmer from Earth who's given a second chance on the planet Exodus, a terraformed world where every aspect of nature is controlled by humanity, including the winged scavengers who plague their crops. Now called Rook, the farmer became one of the wardens, those who wear helmets capable of commanding an animal species, but when the world's engine failed, the power of the wardens fell into the wrong hands. Those who could afford to fled, forcing those left behind to choose between trying to escape this war-torn world before its destruction or fight saving it. This one is by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. It's actually beautiful. It's a great science fiction. I'm digging it. I don't always. They got nice who's who spread. Rook and Swine, and Bat Direwolf are the three, and then they have a page, so some more of them we're going to see. We've got Family Odyssey, which is this kind of semi-comedic science fiction story with a group of characters called the Rocket Fellas, and I love the play on world. It's Peter J. Tomasi and Francis Manapul, and it is absolutely kick-ass sci-fi family fun. And I think it's going to be a blast. Then, I want to talk about this great kid adventure. It's a series called Hornsby and Halo. It's written by Peter J. Tomasi, and the art is by Peter Sandberg and Bershon Hansen. It's a cute little where a demon is being raised by angels and an angel is being raised by demon. A demon is being raised by angels and an angel is being raised by demons in suburbia in the small town of Warwick in upstate New York. Here's the backstory from him. Because they're Rose Hornsby and Zachary Halo. And then there's a dog named Tucker and a cat named Pepper. And they're familiars. So the backstory is, how do you keep the cosmic peace between heaven and hell all within the confines of a small town called Warwick in upstate New York? Easy. If you're a leader on each side of the opposing forces of angels and demons, you broker a deal that trades Zachary Halo, an angel child, to a demon family, and Rose Hornsby, a demon child, to an angel family, and cross your fingers and an everlasting truce takes hold, and the balance of power remains stable in a good old mutually assured destruction kind of way. It's nature versus nurture, as the age-old battle of good and evil is as simple as who speaks louder, the angel on Rose's shoulder or the demon on Zachary's shoulder, as the turbulence of adolescence comes crashing down on two teenagers who have no idea just who and what they truly are. Yet, abilities unknown till they hit puberty. But when they do, watch out. I dug the heck out of it. It was a lot of fun. It was a neat little story. And then there's a horror series called Hyde Street. And I think it's going to be kind of like an anthology thing. I don't know, because it's got 3 stories, one by Jeff Johns and Lamont McGee and Ivan Rice, one, and that's called High Street Amusements. Oh, that's the ad. Oh, that's great. It was like this comic ad of all the weird things you can buy. Then there's Hyde Street, which was by Johns and Ivan Rice. And then there was Devour, which was the last one, which was by Maytal Zook and Ivan Rice, which I really, really love. So I would check this out, folks. It's a good... There's a book here for everybody. And I think if you haven't read Geiger and Junkyard Joe, you're missing out. You're missing out. So I wanted to give you an update on some other stuff I'm reading. You know, I've gotten to that sweet spot of FF. I've crossed into the big crossover things. The last thing I did, I'm in the middle of an arc where Ben is... I think Ben has been made evil by the Mad Thinker, and I'm enjoying it. And Kirby was dead on that I would get over the hump when I got past when Kaluta was inking and Sinnott took over. I liked that arc, the last arc he did, but it was when it got out of the one and dones and they were doing stories that lasted a couple issues. It slowly moved from the more traditional Silver Age kids comic into the FF that I really know and love. And I'm over the moon with where it is now. I know I said I had some troubles. It didn't sing to me as I wanted those first 30 issues to sing to me. But now that I'm almost to issue 70, it's Jack and Stan and Joe Sinnott. It's just firing on all cylinders. And I'm absolutely adoring it. West Coast Avengers, I finished the 5th hardcover. I've just got a little bit Englehart done, and I've gone into the app, but I'm going to pause that for a little bit. For the weekend, I'll probably read some more this week coming up. But I want to talk about New Gods, because I've never read Kirby's New Gods. I've read bits and pieces of it, probably all of the New Gods and most of the Mr. Miracle. But reading it in the omnibus, in publication order, and the omnibus is worth every penny of it I paid. I got it used, and it's still in pretty good shape. And I am up to Jimmy Olsen 1. It's another one with the Don Rickles is in it, with the Newsboy Legion and the Guardian and Morgan Edge. I'm actually loving those Jimmy Olsens more than I thought I would. I think it helps reading it in publication order. I don't think in other trades they put it in where it should kind of read flowing time-wise, but I kind of like that I'm jumping from one book to the other. It's kind of like if I was reading it in the 70s when it came out. I will say this. When I was a kid, I talked shit about this art. I didn't understand why my brother loved it so much. I appreciated how important Jack was, and I liked some of his stuff. I really did. Like the old FF I would see. His cap is in the 60s. It's beautiful. It's great stuff. It's awesome. But I really thought I was too cool for this stuff. And I kind of said this during the Danger Street when I did the Manhunter issue that I really think I kind of like Kirby 70s art more than I like 60s. I don't know. But reading this, I have a whole new appreciation for this comic and this whole series and this whole creation. And I feel like I should eat a little crow and go, I was wrong. Is it clunky at times in writing? Yes, it is. He is telling a story in a specific way. I see how this was such an important comic in the era because I think he kind of creating the new gods and all this stuff that becomes so important to the DC universe is so important because it adds another layer to DC I think it was missing. There is a bit of what I want to call kind of his experimental with, photo overlays and stuff like that. His art is giant. It's epic. It's huge. It's amazing. And I don't ever think I caught that until I was reading it this time. Normally, I'm not Vince Collette is inking most of it, and I think at times he's the right guy to ink it. And I mean, I love Mike Royer on him, and I prefer Mike Royer on it, but I'm really liking it. I mean, and the art is different in each comic book. It's subtly different, at least to me. The Jimmy Olsen's a little different, weird, especially since Superman had to look like he did in the traditional comics. But I just am amazed how much I like it. I'm really digging the Forever People more. I think the Forever People stories going is interesting more. And Mr. Miracle, I don't think I've read. If I've read some of it, I haven't read this early stuff. I read later issues. So it's so new to me and so fresh. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I wish I had more free time to actually read more, but I'm savoring it, so I'm not rushing through it. I'm really, really taking time. It takes a bit to read one of these comics. It can be wordy, but I'm on board. You got me. All right, and one last thing. I'm giddy over the moon because something arrived in my hot little hands on Friday. Rom Omnibus, The Marvel Years, Volume 1. I've already read the first 6 issues. I'm so happy to have this. This is going to be comfort reading for me for the rest of my life. When all 3 are out, I'm going to read it over and over again. It is some of the funnest comics I can remember. It's Bill Mantlo and Sal Buscema, at least this volume is, just telling a great superhero comic where he's a monster kind of thing and looking over people, but he's the silent robot who used to be a man who sacrificed everything and is trying to protect the humans from the evil dire wraith. It's tropey, it's very Bronze Agey, but there's a reason why when Marvel picked up under Shooter these 3 big licenses, ROM, Micronauts, and Shogun more, just toy licenses, let's, and put it in. The Shogun Warriors great sequel to the Godzilla comic, and I like it on that level. But I'm going to take that out of the mix. But I want to talk about the other 2, Micronauts and ROM. They're both by Bill Mantlo, and there's a reason they ran for 100 issues or whatever, 75 and 100 or whatever for Micronauts. And that they were getting these in omnibuses very quickly over the next year. All 3 should be 3 of each. I'm over the moon because Bill Mantlo is such a good storyteller, and he's paired with Sal. And if you like this bit of Bronze Age comics, and even if you don't, you might want to try this and enjoy it. I've been waiting for this stuff to be collected since I sold my runs years ago, because this is it, and Micronauts is something I reread, so I'm enjoying the reread. So if you can afford it, pick it up. I got it from the amazing Pat at Velocity Comics. They pre-ordered me. I got the Sal Buscema ad cover because that was my favorite. It was kind of odd that I did not get the George Perez cover because I'm a George guy, but it's well worth the read. And really check out the Micronauts one when it comes out in a couple months with the amazing Bill Mantlo and Mike Golden. 2 great comics. All right, folks, so Tuesday or Wednesday, the next Starman should drop. It's a little more Will Payton, which is always a good thing. I will try to get a Thursday Legion issue out. No promises, works crazy. And next weekend, I'm going to be doing some recording with the amazing Billy D, and we're going to talk Defenders. All right? So until then, folks, be safe, be smart, be kind to one another, and read some comics. Off to read the Romnibus.